Hello, Professor Bright here. Welcome back to A House of Many Doors, where last episode we made a decision. Before we end our journeys, which actually will take much longer than, just this, but before we go any further with ending our journeys, I want to save the dancing god, which means we have to leave this city and go to Mergulus real quick, find some souls, and give them to the god to implant back into the, I forgot the term for them, but basically these soulless husks of, normal people in this wonderful place where, oh god, no. Okay. Yes, this wonderful place where the threaded, I don't think they actively oppress the, normal people, the unthreaded, but, they do some nasty things to them. Let's just leave it at that. And they're complicit in this, although they might all just be sort of like a hive mind connected to the Empress, or the Imperatrix, rather. Who knows? These are questions for another time, and I would really appreciate you not coming after me. I could probably take you in a fight, but I would not be doing so great afterwards. Alright. And north to Mergulus. Gotta say, most of the reason why I'm here is because this is one of the few jobs that seems very, very much unambiguous, shall we say. Mergulus, the Empire's slaughtering grounds, where gods are killed and processed in the rusted monstrosity of blades called the Shambles. Bloated god corpses lay along as streets, halfway stripped for parts. Yes, this is a lovely place. But if it wasn't for Bysis being kind of terrible, I'd kind of be into this. The whole killing gods and processing them, taking away parts and putting them inside you. Seems like a good plan. But, that's just me. Anyway, gather some news first. You find a threaded citizen flensing one of the god corpses. They're willing to talk even to an unthreaded upstart, but only for a price, of course. The Shambles is sitting in a slightly different place than it was yesterday, and even the knackers are baffled. A diplomat from Bysis has vanished. Vessels have started to shriek in their sleep. That's what they were. Though, threaded citizens are unaffected. The threaded citizen resumes flensing, hovering 10 feet in the air and cutting away great strips of blubbery god flesh. Yes, vessels, they're basically soulless people who've had their souls, I assume, ripped out. On the bright side, they're useful for healing threaded citizens, which I suppose is good, ? It's their civilization, not mine. I don't live with it, so, who am I to say if it's a good thing or not? Who cares? Entering the Shambles, we're going to destroy this society. Well, free a god from this society and see what happens. Enter the Shambles in search of the souls of the vessels. The Shambles squats at the outskirts of Mergulus, a rusting agglomeration of spikes and chains and circular saws. There are no guards. Who would willingly trespass inside a machine built to kill gods? Enter the machine built to kill gods. How did you do this? I'm curious. So very curious. But, first things first. From a distance, the Shambles looks impenetrable, but as you approach it opens itself up, a cluster of blades parting like curtains, revealing a blood-drenched tunnel into its bowels. The stench that rolls forth is suffocating, blood and awful and terror. You step into the Shambles, your feet crunching on small bones. A blade slams down behind you. It brings darkness with it, no way out. Odd, you'd thought the Shambles was active only during the day, but you can hear something grinding and rumbling below. The Shambles is a machine. You know machines. It must follow some logic, however brutal. You follow a promising cable as far as you can. It leads you to a panel of switches, and you disable much of the machinery. It might be your imagination as you continue on, but the rumbling seems a little more subdued, and the hideous rusted weaponry a little less eager to take a swing at you. Curious. Colored lights are shining from your pack. Curious. Your enchanted gimmick has lit up and started whistling frantically. As you hold it, it seems to tug you in a certain direction. There's some hungry, occult-devouring thing at the center of the shambles, pulling it in. You follow it for a while, ducking loops of chain and swinging cleavers. Eventually, it crumbles into dust in your palm. Curious. Let instinct guide us. You lift your feet carefully over spiked chains, duck beneath circular saws that look like they could whir into motion at any moment. Some unerring instinct tells you the right way to go. Tempting as this is, vigilance. Beware, the shambles is out to kill you. Oh. You keep a careful watch for the shambles' dangers. It's not activated, of course, but it still seems to have a mind of its own. You duck a second before a blade swings from the wall, grab a chain and lift your feet just as spikes burst from the floor. This is a wonderful machine you've built. It appears to be alive and vicious. Finally, you stumble across a rusted lockbox. It rattles. Good. Oh dear. As you touch the lockbox, a torrent of visions flood your mind. Fragments of 100,000 lives, bitter rows with parents, aching insecurities in the mirror, small moments of quiet pleasure in the dark, and above all, a profound and crushing sadness. Free us, begs a voice in your head. Return us to ourselves. This is it. A box filled with the vessel's stolen souls. You flee from the shambles, dodging cleavers and axes and spinning blades, clutching the box tight to your chest. You must return to Bysis and the dancing god as soon as you can. And I will, but I am so very curious. Could we have gone deeper in? Could we have seen more? Wander these streets. The knackers have declared an early curfew for all unthreaded. You'll have to be quick. Ah, I see. You walk around the outskirts of the shambles, the swollen machine that the threaded use to butcher their captured gods, rather. It's the size of a city district, a rusted agglomeration of spikes and skewers and buzzsaw so colossal that your eyes ache trying to take it all in. Suddenly you hear a weak cry for help. You rush towards the sound and find one of the knackers, the Empire's squad of butchers, hanging limply from a hook a few dozen feet above you. His thread is all snagged and twisted in the machinery behind him. Fetch me a vessel, croaks the knacker. Blood spills from his open mouth, dying. Watch the knacker as he dies. The threaded are monsters, and powerful monsters at that. This should be an interesting study in their weaknesses. And I am curious. The knacker struggles weakly upon his hook, a just-pinned butterfly. You flip open a notepad, click your pen, and observe the demise of a god killer. He dies just like an unthreaded human in the end, perhaps because his thread is caught in the machine behind him. You note that it hangs more limply from usual as it emerges from the corners of his mouth, his fingertips, and his eyes. I have several questions there. So the demise of a god killer dies just like an unthreaded human in the end, perhaps because his thread is caught in the machine behind him. You know that it hangs more limply from usual as it emerges from the corner of his mouth, fingertips, and eyes. Because they're puppets of someone else, I assume, but I'm not... I'm curious. So very curious. Useful to know, though. You leave the knacker's corpse dangling as it did in life. Chat with Waif real quick, get ourselves a little bit less, worried. And while I'm here, I don't believe you had anything useful, but... Oh well. I could say yes to a few more fuel. And then we leave. Onward to elsewhere. A specific elsewhere, though. We're headed to Bysis. And you are gonna just go ahead on... Nope. 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 Don't want to deal with you. Don't want to deal with you. Okay. No, I did not want to do that. Read the runes. Get out of here. Okay. Progress. God, they are out in force tonight. Okay. Let's go south. God damn you. Why? Why do you need to be all up in my business? For what reason? Ah, dearie me. Yes, this threaded empire, it's intriguing. I like the idea of people, again, using gods as what was that? Philomenor. Well, after we've dealt with the dancing god, we'll have to check that out. But first, we have business to attend to. The dancing god comes to you in another dream. You show him the rattling lockbox. Thou hast done excellently, says the god king on his golden throne. Most of the vessels in the empire are to be found in Philomenor. Travel there and open the box, allowing the souls of thy kin to return to their bodies. Long ago, I weakened my bonds enough to escape. I knew that if I did, I would just be recaptured. This will prove the distraction I need to get away. You wake with a new sense of purpose. Alright. We'll wander the streets as one does. Oh? Curious. You stumble across a strange ceremony in the city center. 1,000 threaded or more have been assembled, so many that their threads are tangled as they ascend to the ceiling. The Imperatrix herself stands on a raised dais, holding what looks like an infant child, a soft little mewling thing in her crusty god-blood gauntlets. For a moment you fear the worst, but this isn't a sacrifice. O wise heart, intones the Imperatrix, accept this meager flesh as thy avatar. We offer this pathetic tool for the transmission of thy will. Make of this thing a threaded citizen, proud and true and black of blood. Unattached ropes of thread spool down from the ceiling, gathering up the child and burrowing into its eyes and fingers. The threaded citizenry roar with something like ecstasy. A new threaded has been accepted. Praise the Empire, praise the Imperatrix, praise Thread. Interesting. Very interesting. So it is some other entity that's, I suppose we'll call it, controlling them? Very curious, very curious. New Thread has been accepted by the Thread. Or is Thread the name of their god? Curious. Either way, slip away, the devotion of the crowd is unnerving. I have several questions, but those are matters for the future. Turns out we need to go to Philomenor. So, lucky that we found it, I suppose. Could have ended badly. Find me something, an ancient grimoire? Possibly useful. Will be useful in that it can be sold, I suppose. Or hey, maybe we do need it for that final event. We do want to be... do want to be prepared for that, but matter for the future. You know how things are. Worry about what we can fix, not what we can't. Well, I said fix. Prepare for what we can. Prepare for? There's a phrase there, but unfortunately I seem to have lost it. Unfortunate. But let's move on and explore this Philomenor. Well, that's inviting. Are these just the heads of a bunch of gods? Cool. The gateway to the rest of the Empire, where the unthreaded are forbidden to tread. Gateway is no metaphor. The entire city is built atop and inside a gate, which fills the room from floor to wall to ceiling. Predictably, the Empires lined their gate with the spiked heads of gods. Each looks immensely tired and regal and sad. Some news first. A threaded citizen mistakes you for a mindless vessel. You can eavesdrop on her conversation for a while. And we will. There is news from the Forbidden Empire beyond Philomenor, where strange new rooms are being discovered. News of an algae king ruling a sea of bile, of a city built inside a monster's mouth, of an upside-down kingdom made of cardboard. This threaded citizen notices you are listening, and she stops speaking so freely. Unfortunate that. Wander these streets. Philomenor is a gate through which you are forbidden to pass, but the city itself is open to you. A horde of vessels shuffle past, prodded onward with sticks and whips, towards Valorous Man's hospital. As they pass, one of the sad grey figures turns and stares at you with dull bovine eyes. You're not sure he really sees you, but something prickles at the back of your neck. Slip away, the vessels march on to their doom. Yeah, they're kind of used as, I'm gonna say parts, but really it's more of a occult scrap, I suppose. It's a little bit odd, disturbing. We're just gonna release these souls and cause a bit of chaos around here, so let's do that. Oh, I actually have to break in. Unfortunate. You head to the Valorous Man's Hospital, a tower of whitewashed concrete that sticks from the gate city like an upraised thumb. This is where most vessels in the Empire are housed. As you enter the reception, the threaded man behind the desk looks up at you with weary irritation. Can we get a handler out here, please? He demands into a handset. One of the vessels is wandered out into the lobby again. I feel like this could end badly. Protest, I may be unthreaded, but I am not a vessel. Oh, the threaded stares at you. Well, don't treat your kind here. Unthreaded? You should get out of here. Before you can reply, a threaded woman in a white coat walks in. She's leading a group of unthreaded men and women behind her, each of them dressed in a threadbare white shift and staring blankly at their own feet. They shuffle after the threaded woman unquestioningly. She leads the vessels through the lobby and into the hospital. But I'm so curious, though. Follow at a discreet distance. The vessels trudge listlessly down a long, gleaming corridor. You're led into a ward empty of beds where a warrior hangs half dead at the end of his thread. From his necklace of teeth, you must assume he was a god hunter. Hurry up, grumbles the hunter, wincing. His abdomen has been slashed open and inexpertly bandaged. His blood puddles on the floor. I'm curious. But I've seen this sort of ritual before. Open the lockbox now. The padlock and chains have been rusted near to nothing. You snap them off with ease. The lid flies open, the box shatters. A roaring cloud of ghosts blossoms forth and fly into the mouths and nostrils of the expressionless vessels. The men and women don't return to emotion and consciousness. They don't gasp or weep or stare at their hands in shock. Instead, they begin to change. Clusters of teeth poke through the skin on their foreheads. Their eyes expand like balloons. Worm-like tendrils of flesh rip through their clothing, swelling into tentacles covered in laughing human mouths. The threaded doctor is speared by an enormous, hooked blade of a fingernail. Yeah, let's run. I like the idea of running. The hospital collapses behind you, flooding the streets of Filimonor in rubble. Flesh tentacles as long as rainbows unspool from the wreckage, arcing over the cityscape, slamming down on rooftops. Everything becomes dust and panic. The next few minutes are just a series of vague impressions, screams, flames spitting through the air, hundreds of threaded figures, warrior and civilian alike, flying up to battle the flesh beasts emerging from the hospital. You dash through the convulsing city, dodging the occasional falling brick, leaping over the cracks in the street. Finally, you make it back to your Kinetopede and order a quick getaway. That was certainly enough of a distraction. Oh my, yes, let's not be here right now. So do I go back to Bisis, or what? Huh. A peaceful sleep, I believe. Yeah, just see if he escaped. Well, that was a bit of excitement. Huh. Oh dear. Could have been worse, I suppose. Suppose, yes. Well, we just destroyed the, that city. That's unfortunate. And assuming they have to do a ritual for each threaded citizen that they birth, question mark? That's probably a lot of irreplaceable citizens that are, dead now. I mean, truth be told, I never liked them that much. The whole prejudice against people who are unthreaded, kinda not my thing. You know, exclusionary clubs, not really my deal. Yeah. Oh, what did you find now? The Jagged Sands? Oh, I feel like we must explore it, but before we do that, let's see what we came here to see. Or at least attempt to. How many more? Ah, just the one. I mean, I need to see what the jagged sands are, but, you know. Ah, wonderful. The air shimmers with heat, the Imperator's palace looms at the city's heart, a tower of witch glass and fused bone topped by the hideous skull of some slaughtered deity. The dancing god is missing from the city's horizon. Did he successfully escape? Bisis has changed. Half the buildings are smoldering wrecks, and the rest have bullet holes in the brick. You pass an entire street that lies in ruins. Several corpses have been impaled in the center square. One of the dead bodies is the Imperatrix herself, uncrowned, her purple-black scab armor cracked like a crab shell. Ask the citizens what's going on. I don't have time to chat to an unthreaded, sneers one of the threaded citizens you ask. This is why I'm totally okay with the Imperatrix dying and, well, basically all the other terrible things that are going to happen to you guys as a result of what I just did. Walk to the tower where the dancing god was shackled. As you near the tower, you spot... As you near the tower, you spot the dancing god's outstretched corpse. Several buildings have been flattened beneath his vast, dead bulk. A peaceful smile is spread across his face. Several of the threaded are already working at him with a bone saw, carrying meat and bone away on wheelbarrows. A tap on your shoulder. You turn to see a bald threaded you don't recognize wearing a crown of teeth upon his head. You must be the unthreaded, he says. You are a most useful tool. We needed something to distract the Imperatrix from our coup. And who are you? Once I had the honor to be Assidious Slaughterer, the chief of the Knackers. I am now the Imperator of Thread. Oh dear, I thought I was working for the dancing god. Yes, and he was working for us. Thread yanks up the Imperator's arm, pointing it at the dancing god's corpse. His payment was death, which he yearned for above all else. The Imperatrix lacked the means to kill him. We could provide it. Oh, so all along I just provided a distraction for a coup? The souls you retrieved from the shambles were not the souls of vessels, says the bald threaded. They were souls of dead gods. Much more powerful. The Imperatrix was forced to send all her most loyal troops to Philomenour to deal with the outbreak. That's when we struck. The previous Imperator was a great man, and it was a shame to kill his daughter, but the fact we were able to defeat her proved she was too weak. The dancing god promised me secrets, gold, and power. The threaded do not forget their obligations. A promise made is a promise kept. The bald man waves to his servants, who bring forth a golden golem beetle with wings of glittering diamond. It chitters and flies to your shoulder. Gold. Secrets. The servants lay a scroll on the ground at your feet. When you read it later, you will discover a detailed summary of the schemes of the clandestine. Curious. And power. Finally, the servants lay a steel scepter at your feet. It buzzes with some innate energy. The very sight of it is enough to make your hair stand on end. And our business concludes. You are lucky, unthreaded. Fleas such as yourself rarely influence the history of our empire. Do not test your luck by attempting to do so again. The Imperator turns away from you with a sniff. A pity. I had a feeling things wouldn't turn out quite as, clean as we would have preferred. But, well, we at least brought a measure of peace to the dancing god. There is that, I suppose. And now they've changed it to the Imperator. Same essential, I suppose, ritual, but, a pity. Well, tell you what, we're going to take a quick look at the Jagged Sands, and next episode we'll begin our little attempt at escaping the house. Well, I say begin the attempt in earnest. Yes, that seems like a good plan. Well, a plan at the very least. 2 down, 1 left. Curious. I don't recall you. Oh. A giant skull, a remnant of the War of the Gods, or perhaps some other ancient dead god, stolen from another world by the house. Your crew linger around the skull, laughing and chatting and chipping at the ivory. You get an uneasy feeling. Something's wrong. You order your crew back to the Kinetopede. As you pull away, a colossal tentacle unfurls languidly from the skull's left eye socket. Good thing we got out of there! That was worrisome. I don't know, perhaps I should have helped the Imperatrix instead. But perhaps it doesn't matter. The jagged sands. I see a lot of hourglasses that have been cracked. Littered with broken glass and dust-bleached bones, some of the shards are huge as tower blocks, some small enough to slice open a careless foot. Time is strange in these parts. The sands will eat you up and age you, erase you, or spit you back 100 years later than you expected. We must search them, of course. The sands are a pilgrimage for treasure hunters. They say vast glittering vaults lie deep beneath the dust. Oh my. Your Kinetopede's legs are quickly bogged down in the sand. You lead your crew just a little further into the desert, armed with shovels and wheelbarrows. After several hours of digging, one of your crew finds something, an enormous chunk of witch glass, tall as a man and sharp as a knife. It's just about small enough to carry back, although your crew groan in dismay at the prospect. You order it dug up. Interesting place, though. Doesn't seem like we can do much here, but oh, what the heck was that? No. No, I don't want to propitiate anybody. Thank you very much. Just a little chat with Waif. And... Yes, I think next episode we begin our trek outside the house. Well, again, we're gonna talk with Persephone and hope that this leads to a way out of the house. I presume it will, but then again, I also assumed that we would be working for the dancing god and it would all turn out great and he would have escaped, and would have been lovely, but it wasn't, so perhaps it won't be. But perhaps it will be. Maybe. We'll find out. In the meantime, thank you for your time. Note the like, comment, and subscribe buttons below. Use them responsibly. And I shall see you all soon. Bye-bye.